So, in response to the BACB's announcement in 2019, oh, it feels like such a long time ago now. In December 2019, they said that they would no longer provide certification to people living outside of the US or Canada. And so, from that announcement, there was an organization that was spurred, that kind of developed, and that is the IBAO.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you go ahead and describe or talk about that?
So it's the International Behavior Analysis Organization. And I am on the professional advisory board, but with COVID, I just have not been as active as I would have liked to. My schedule just changed drastically with having my son home for a really long time, and he is in school now, but now it's like catching up on all the things that I got
Yeah.
behind on. So Dr. Mike Mueller and AJ Njoku developed it in January, I guess. They had been working with a group overseas, and the group was so devastated when they were there when the announcement came out from the BACB, and they were so devastated because they had just spent a really long time working with their government to get funding to go through the coursework and become certified, and it wasn't going to be feasible anymore because of the tight deadline around it. So Mike was really inspired by them and how passionate they were about wanting to continue to pursue learning about behavior analysis. So he came back and contacted a few people, and I was one of them. And we just sort of all reached out to our different contacts and built this professional advisory board for the IBAO. So I believe at this point, there's over 20 countries represented that have been giving input. So over the last 10 months, they've been working on building the task list and the ethics code and the testing, all of the things that you would need to have an official certification. I have not been as involved with it as I was hoping because of COVID, but I've been reviewing the materials as I can, it's just been really incredible to watch how people, again, from so many different countries have been able to come together, and they'll put out a draft of something and people will point out how something might be an issue for their particular area, and there will be some conversation and they'll shift things to make it more feasible for countries at large, right? Now, obviously, we all know every area is different, especially in terms of the resources available for having something like this. So there's also a lot of flexibility built in, with the hope that for for people from each of the countries that are represented and anyone else that decides to pursue it, that they would be able to connect with their own local governments and potentially make whatever modifications might need to be made, or have like chapters, so that things could be created in a way that's beneficial to that community, as opposed to one blanket thing that would try to be worldwide, which was, what the BACB recognized, like that's just not possible to have
Yeah.
one thing that's worldwide. And I definitely, can understand that. I don't judge or criticize them for that. And I'm glad that it must have been a really difficult decision for them to make that, but it obviously makes more sense than trying to continue to push a United States like worldview on everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. So with these chapters, um, countries can make it more relevant to their own culture.
Right. So, and again, I don't know a ton about like where that aspect of the process is. I think it's going to be some type of phased approach where, the initial stuff comes out, and then the IBAO will work with people in different areas to make sure they can get access. But even the initial, there's like different pathways for becoming certified that are a lot more flexible, but still focused on demonstrating competency with the science. So I think
Hmm.
that's going to be hugely beneficial. I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure how much has been released yet versus it's still being worked on. But they do have a website, so I can send that to you if you want to put it in the show notes and people can check it out.
Yeah, that would be great because it's important to have some kind of regulatory standard so that parents who are looking for services in these countries can have some kind of like gold standard of what to look out for.
Yes.
Because, there are many people who, are trying to do good and they have autism centers, but it's not best practice and they're not, implementing evidence-based procedures. And so it's hard if you're a parent and you really don't know and
Right.
you're just looking things up on the internet, and who knows what you're going to find.
Yes. Yep. And I know Michelle Kelly, who's out in the United Arab Emirates, she did a presentation at ABAI. I was on a symposium with her, and she talked about what they're creating, they were working on creating for Abu Dhabi and working with the government there. And I told her, I was like, I hope you'll write this up as a paper, because this could be a great model for other places that want to create their own thing and not go through one of the existing bodies that are already out there. So hopefully she will, but that's someone else or something else to keep an eye on is, countries just doing, I know there's a few others, Brazil, maybe there's certain countries that have their own certification process that they've come up with.
That's great. I mean, that's kind of what I guess what the BACB was hoping would happen from this,
Right.
You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.